Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dodgers Port. And after the last battle in the Tier 3 American cruiser, the St. Louis, I thought we'd go into the Tier 4 American cruiser, the Phoenix. Phoenix traditionally rose from the ashes, which is convenient because every time I play it, it ends up in ashes. This is a ship I always have problems playing. In fact, going into this battle, it was the only ship on this account that had less than a 50% win rate. That shows you how I like playing this ship. But in the spirit of wanting to put a battle out there in every ship, I decided I'd jump into it and make myself miserable, trying to get one battle that was at least worth showing you. And actually the battle, as it turned out, was a pretty juicy one. Lots of comments in the battle, so I'm not going to duplicate them in the port. What we'll do is we'll jump straight in there now, and I'll see you there. Here we are then on the New Dawn map, with the 3 cap zones in the aforementioned Tier 4 American cruiser, the Phoenix. Now, I know I have a habit of running into islands, but putting one directly in front of me at the start of the battle, I'm beginning to think Wargame are trolling me. Thanks for that, Wargaming. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is turn hard over and accelerate around the island. Now, my preferred playstyle with cap zones, as you know, is usually to sit just outside them and snipe at anyone within them. Not really an option at this end of this map, because both A and B have got a lot of islands around them, which means that you spend a lot of your time with ships getting out of your line of sight, and you can't get clear fire on one ship to fire it down and sink it. You end up firing several shells at several ships, which is not the most effective way of doing it. So what I decided to do is head straight away into A. I've also got a destroyer in front of me, and I've got another cruiser alongside me and a battleship. That should be enough to cause some serious issues in A. Now, once I get in A, what can I do? Well, obviously I don't have any smoke, but I do have hydroacoustics to spot enemy torpedoes, and I do have torpedoes of my own. And they're pretty chunky, and they've got a 5.5 kilometer range. So let's see if we can get into A, and if there's any cruiser foolish enough to come within 5.5 kilometers, we'll try and give him some torpedoes. They are quite quick torpedoes as well, which, going back to my dislike of the ship compared to the Svetlana, is unusual, because the torpedoes on this ship 5.5 kilometer range, whereas on the Svetlana they're only 5 kilometers, and they do more damage on this ship. Weird. Oh, we're detected. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned is the detection range on this ship compared to the Svetlana. It can be detected 5 kilometers further away. That really is a big difference. And it's strange, because when you look at the two ships, there's not that much difference in the profile. In fact, Svetlana is actually longer. I'm not sure why this ship can be seen from so much further away. But we're into the battle now, so let's see what we can do. First things first, you know my opinion on destroyers. Destroy them! Okay, he's fired a set of torpedoes at our destroyer. That's going to hurt. Looks like our destroyer is retaliating, but against the enemy cruiser. That's a strange choice. And he's now dead. Great, at least we've got some smoke. Also got a destroyer who's probably going to fire more torpedoes. And there they go. But I'm not that silly. We will just simply slow down and turn over. And I think I've said this before, but when you're avoiding torpedoes, don't just turn. Be assured of moving your speed around as well. Sometimes slowing down and turning is what's absolutely critical, rather than just the turning. Well, he got way too close to me, and he's now suffering for it. Now, on the horizon is a ship that's going to be the bane of my life for the next minute or two. He's got a pretty good aim. And he set me on fire, and I could put it straight out, but I'm really focusing on this guy at the minute. I know he's going to have torpedoes. I'm figuring this is probably going to be one of those things where I kill him and he kills me. But again, hard over, and most importantly, you see my speed dropping on the left. Really, really slamming the brakes on. And that's what allows me to avoid the torpedoes. Not just the turn, but dropping all the speed off. Now, in the process of that, of course, I'm on fire again. And I've used my consumable, so I'm now going to burn for a while. And this guy's really starting to grate on me. However, he does seem to be stationary, and that's unusual. It's not like the guns are more accurate when you're stationary or anything in this game. So if he's going to sit there stationary, we'll switch to armor piercing. And we'll see if we can do a citadel. No, we can over-penetrate him 4 times. That makes sense. Yep, over-penetrating and ricocheting. The armor-piercing shells on this ship at range really are abysmal. So it looks now like he's reversing. Just makes him an easy target. Not that we can do very much about it, but we can certainly put some armor piercing in his rough vicinity. Could I switch to high explosives? Yeah, I could, but as you'll see later, the high explosives seem to have a pretty poor rate of setting things on fire as well, so a combination of armor piercing that don't put Citadel and high explosive that don't set people on fire does leave me tending to wonder how on earth I sink enemy ships. Well, what I can do is use torpedoes. That's the one thing it really does have going for it. So we'll give this battleship 3 of them. Hopefully he'll be too preoccupied with the battleship that's firing at him to worry about my torpedoes. But knowing that 3 torpedoes, even if they all hit him, probably won't be enough, I decided I'd better turn around and give him the others. Now I'm alright doing this because I know all of his guns are pointing in the other direction. Oh, they were. Not anymore, so I'd better get out of there. We've launched the torps, got 1 into him from the first set. Looks like we're going to get at least 1 from the second set. Oh, and our old friend has decided this is the right time to come out and cause me some problem. I disagree with that, by the way. I think the right time for him to come out and cause me problems was when I was busy with this battleship. He could have popped out earlier, and we know he's got a good aim, so he could have popped out and caused me grief while I was too busy with the battleship to be able to dodge. What I need to do is set this guy on fire. And there we go. As if by magic, he's on fire. So, is he going to burn to death? Can I leave him alone? Let's have a quick look. He's not put it out. Yep, he's going to burn to death. Don't waste your shells on someone who's burning to death. So we'll switch back to try and get a Citadel. Oh, overpenned. And there you go. There's a battleship that just burnt to death. There we go. Finally a Citadel. Don't get excited. There won't be very many more, if any. Yeah, we're just constantly overpenning here. Now he's turned, so we shouldn't overpen now. No. Now instead we're ricocheting. Give him 1 more go. 1 overpen and 3 ricochets. Okay, that's quite enough of that. Clearly our armor piercing are not going to work against him at this range, so we better switch to high explosive. Not that we'll set him on fire, but at least we'll do some damage. That's more like it. That's a very good torpedo protection hits to take 3. And he's dead. We didn't get the kill, and I don't care. He was causing me problems, and now he isn't. So how's the battle going? It's looking good. Looking solid. I've been struggling almost the entire battle, but the battle itself is looking pretty good. 1 destroyer left. You know my opinion on destroyers. Get rid of them as quickly as possible. Okay. Try and aim closer to him than I normally would because it looks like his engines are sputtering. He's still going fast enough though. There you go, have some of those. That looks more like it. Yeah. Is he on fire? No, I don't think he is. But he is now sinking. Battle absolutely dead level now. 5 ships each. Biggest difference is we've lost an extra battleship to them. They've only lost 1, we've lost 2. And this ship, if I can get close enough with torpedoes, I could do damage to battleships. But the problem is my Citadel is so high above the waterline and so obvious that a battleship will probably one-shot me. So I decide, first of all, let's take care of at least 1 more of the cruisers. He's on low health. He's firing at me, and that will always get me firing back. And there's a high caliber on the Confederate, and somebody gets that kill as well. It's a good job I'm not adverse to people killing ships that I'm firing at, isn't it? Now we've got 3 high health enemy battleships and 1 full health enemy cruiser, and that cruiser is a tier 3 St. Louis. And as you know, they've got quite a lot of health as well. So it's clearly not going to be a 2-minute job to sink all of these ships, even if I could get close enough to do it. So how do we do this? Well, my thought process was get into B now. The battle's so tight, we're a ship up, we're points up. It could end up as a points battle, and if so, if we can get 2 cap zones to their 1, that'll probably make the difference. Still 10.5 minutes left, but an awful lot of health left on these ships. I mean, everywhere I look, there's a full health ship. 3 of them are battleships. I'm hoping my friendly Wyoming is going to help me out with some of these battleships. So, cruiser first, although looking at it, there's no way we're going to be able to sink him until he gets around that corner. But he is sailing directly towards the Wyoming and the other cruiser left in the battle down there. So, his chance of surviving in a tier 3 with so many tier 4s around him are not great. Now this island, we need to use it to our advantage. The idea being we want just one of these battleships to be within range, firing range, and not the other. 1 I can maybe get away with, 2 will probably kill me. Right, we're under 4 kilometers. That's kind of my magic number for torpedoes against battleships. Now I could turn port or starboard. Which would you do? Yep, I turn starboard, because if I turn port I'm going to run into an island almost certainly, unless I slow down. And the last thing I want at the minute is to be slowing down when there are 2 battleships heading in my direction. Hopefully they're not both planning on targeting me. That would be annoying. There we go, we've got 1 torpedo into him. Oh well, it's better than nothing. And now at least he's not a full health battleship, now he's only a half health battleship. Fire would be nice. Not happening though, is it? So what we can do is give him some more torpedoes. Now is he paying attention? Yeah, he is. Frantically trying to get a fire on him at this stage, and we're now a ship down, and I'm thinking this battle may even be lost at this point. They've just got so much health and I don't, and I'm not sure where my colleagues are health wise, but these battleships are just all still absolutely chocker with health. Now you see me do this on the Svetlana where I run away and fire over my shoulder. The difference is on the Svetlana I'm constantly setting fires on things, whereas with the Phoenix I'm constantly not. And of course I just tempted fate and set a fire, which he put out. Now, in one respect that's a bad thing. I set a fire and he put it out so it didn't do any damage. However, if I just wait a little bit until his immunity runs out, if we can then fire some torpedoes at him, what he can't do is repair any flooding. And his positioning's now not great, because he's going to have only 2 options here. He's either going to have to turn into the island or turn into me. Or perhaps sail straight on. That would be lovely. He'd take 3 torpedoes if he sails straight on. So, fire. There we go. And he can't put that fire out, remember. And he takes 1 torpedo and he's dead. There we go. So now we are 3 versus 2 and the battle seems to have swung dramatically. Again, frantically hoping to set fire to this battleship. I can now head back south again. I've covered some real miles during this battle. Started off all the way up at the top of A, moved all the way down into B, all the way back up to A again in a ship that isn't the quickest ship in the world. It's not the slowest either, but you know, it's a lot of distance to cover that in one battle. And it shows that in a battle you don't just head somewhere and then fight there and either win or die. It's a very fluid game, if you'll pardon the pun. It's a very fluid game. You have to decide when to push and you have to know when to back off. And now he's burning. Thank you very much. Bet he's put it out though. Yeah, of course he has. So we're now down to just the 1. Now, as it says in the chat to the left, Nicholas Lycos has also got a Kraken. That's quite unusual. 2 people getting a Kraken in one battle. And the poor guy in the enemy Wyoming, although he's got a lot of health, he's now got to contend with 3 players, 2 of which have already sunk 5 ships each. So if he glanced at the scoreboard, he'd know that he's probably in a world of trouble round about now. But he's swerving, he's moving, he's changing his direction. All good things at that range. Straddled him. However, he is heading directly towards our battleship. What would I do if I were in his position? Well, I'd probably figure it was lost anyway, but I think I'd probably try to head more away from this Wyoming, because as he's heading towards the Wyoming and me, he's going to end up with 2 people firing at me. I'd probably try and run away from the enemy battleship and hope that I followed him in the cruiser, and then he could maybe get rid of me and then turn back to fire at one of the battleships at a time. Because at the moment he's in an impossible position. He's got me putting high explosive shells at him from the side, and he can't turn to avoid those, otherwise he ends up with a really nasty broadside from our Wyoming. And you can see shells now coming in from the other cruiser as well, from over my shoulder. I get it very close together, these ships. Don't ram him. Oh, heck. So, we got the win, and we got the Kraken. But did I enjoy the battle? Not particularly, because this ship always seems to be a problem for me when I'm playing it. If you've got any ideas why this ship is such a problem when I'm playing it, please put it in the comments below. It might just be that its playstyle doesn't suit me, but it's so similar to a Svetlana in most respects, which I enjoy playing, I just don't get it. So in the next battle, what we'll do is we'll choose a ship that I actually enjoy playing, and we'll see if we can give you a good solid battle in that ship. Until then, take care everybody, happy sailing, and bye bye.